Hi everybody, Kevin Pollock here with Prince William County Historic Preservation Division. We're standing inside the park office at the Bristoe Station Battlefield Heritage Park. And today I'm just going to run through some of the files that we have here in the park, some ways that you can come and do some of your own research about Bristoe Station, both during the Civil War, and we also have files related to Bristoe Station before and after the American Civil War as well, but also how you can do some of your own research into the American Civil War in Prince William County from your home. So you'll see behind me we have plenty of resources available to us here, both books that were published in the immediate aftermath of the American Civil War, and then also books that have been published recently. For those of you that are certainly well aware of the Civil War and its ever-growing historiography, there are always more and more books coming out on the American Civil War. But one of the greatest assets that we use constantly when it comes to researching the Civil War at Bristoe Station are the books here to my left that you can see over nearly 130 volumes that we have here. And these are known officially as the official records of the Union and Confederate armies of the War of the Rebellion. And these were put together by veterans themselves in the decades after the American Civil War, and they contain thousands, literally thousands and thousands of pages of official correspondence of both the Union and Confederate armies. And so oftentimes when we are researching particular units that fought at Bristoe Station or units that were camped here or moved through here during the course of the Civil War, we will always turn to one of the volumes here and look through and see what is mentioned about Bristoe Station, officers' reports about the different battles that take place here. So these are probably the number one go-to source of what we have here in our library and what we constantly turn to here when researching more and more things about the battlefield here in 1862 and 1863. So I'm just going to kind of take you around the room a little bit, show you some of the resources that we have here. Our collections are always growing. You can see the close-up of the official records that we have. That set is completely full, at least for the armies. We are growing a set, so to speak, for the navies as well, that were also published by the veterans in the decades after the Civil War. But we're always accepting free donations for books. We're always going out and finding books that relate to Bristoe Station specifically to add to our library. You can see we have some of the old Civil War Times Illustrated magazines as well that have been published since the 1960s. It's a still continuously running magazine that has all sorts of great research files for anybody that might be interested in many different aspects of the American Civil War. And then lastly, I'll direct you over here to the back corner, so to speak, of the library, where we have these filing cabinets here. In the years since Bristoe Station Battlefield became a county park, many of our county historians and our staff have gone out to many different research repositories throughout the country today to make copies of letters of soldiers that write about their experiences here at Bristoe Station, whether that was in battle or in camp. So we have copies of some of those files here that are organized by the different regiments that you can come and find. We have copies of newspaper letters. A lot of Civil War soldiers wrote letters home to newspapers that are reprinted, and we're always finding more and more of those letters and mentions of Bristoe Station ultimately. We have copies of diaries, some original documents, copies of original documents here that you might not be able to find really almost any place else. And so if you're coming to research Western Prince William County in the American Civil War, and specifically Bristoe Station, this will be the perfect place for you to come and visit. You can just give us a call anytime and set up a time to come here and take a look at all the research files that we have. But for as much as we have in this room, there is still so much more that we don't have. Many more stories about soldiers and citizens who were here that we might know bits and pieces of their stories, but we're always trying to take more and more information and complete those stories, if you will, to a point where we have just as much information as we would absolutely like. As I mentioned, though, too, we are always finding more and more sources related to Bristoe Station. And while you might think, what more can we know about the Battle of Bristoe Station and the Bristoe Station battlefield, we are finding that there's always more that we can learn. New letters will turn up, and they change our interpretation about how certain events took place. Or we find new letters and diaries that talk about the story of a specific soldier. And those stories are very, very important for us when visitors come to the park, because those human interest stories help to tie visitors to the ground that they're standing on. And so we can take the library of research that we have in here, take it out to the battlefield, take those quotes, take those stories to the places where they actually happen. In some cases, we're even lucky enough to be able to locate to the exact spot where they happened, and we can help tie visitors to the landscape outside of our park office, and hopefully they'll want to come back and continue to use our sites and learn more about our sites. So these libraries and these research facilities is where the digging really starts to find out the stories of the different historic sites that we manage. And again, we use that so we can take it outside into the park and share these stories with everyday visitors just like you. So I hope you'll come out and join us at many of our different historic sites for our tours, but also don't forget the many research resources that we have at our different sites in case you too want to learn more about Prince William County's history.